Hi everybody, Gary Francione for the Abolitionist Approach. This is Duncan, and that's Gary Steiner from Bucknell University. He's visiting with us, and we thought we would do some videos, and this is the third one we've done today. And we wanted to talk with you about domestication. This is Duncan. He is my property. I love him. I regard him as a member of my family. As far as the law is concerned, he is my property. He is something I own. He's no different from the other property that I own. If I wish to value him at zero and dump him at a kill shelter tonight, I can do that. No, I won't do it. I promise I won't do it. Or if I want, I can take him to a veterinarian and have him killed. He is my property. As much as I love him, and I can value him highly because he's my property, and I can also value him at zero and basically cause him a great deal of distress. So this is the problem of domestication. I'm sure that you love the animals you live with. We love the animals we live with. But the reality is most dogs and cats, and certainly all the other domesticated animals that we exploit for other purposes, have horrible lives.
Right, and the most counterintuitive aspect of strict veganism is the fact that many of us live with companion animals that we care about very, very much, just as Gary cares about Duncan. And we are so accustomed to thinking of companion animals as creatures that we love, and we do love them, but the fact is, when you have companion animals and when you have domesticated animals, you're really inflicting a certain kind of violence that, in the case of companion animals, is often invisible. We can find their movements. We can find where they can be located, where they can roam. My cat Pindar, whom I love very much and who passed away a few months ago, lived in what I call a luxury prison. He never got to go outside, so he was confined to the interior of my house. I fed him and treated him very, very well, but the fact is he ate what I wanted him to eat, when I wanted him to eat it, and so forth, where I wanted him to eat it. He didn't really have a life of his own. He had been reduced, like all domesticated animals, to, in a sense, an object that was convenient and pleasurable for me.
You know, I think it's important to understand that there are a lot of animals out there right now, a lot of Duncans who need homes. We have an obligation. Duncan and all of the other dogs and cats are in this mess because of us. We have an obligation to take care of them. But we also have an obligation not to bring any more or facilitate bringing any more into existence. As much as Anna and I love living with dogs, if there were two left in the world and it were up to us as to whether they continue to breed so that we could have pets, the answer is absolutely not. Pets, however well treated, it's an institution of exploitation, and it ought to be abolished like all forms of animal exploitation.
Now, people will say to you, if you're really a strict vegan, what are you doing with a companion animal? And the answer is very, very simple. There are a great many domesticated animals who already exist, and they exist precisely because human beings brought them into existence. And the question is, what do we do with the existing companion animals or the existing domesticated animals? And the answer is we have to take care of them. We have to care for them and steward them. Try to give them as good a life as we can, given the fact that their existence is our responsibility. But that doesn't mean that we let any more come into existence. The answer is always get a rescue animal. There's many, many of them who have, in many ways, very horrible lives. They need our care, they need our concern, they need our help. They're completely dependent upon us, and without us, they're totally, totally vulnerable and helpless.
Duncan was a cruelty case. He was found almost dead. Someone had taped his mouth shut. He hadn't eaten for a long time. His face was cut in half. He has very bad scarring under the fur on his face. He has no teeth in the middle of his mouth. It was an absolutely horrible situation when we first got him, and he's doing pretty well now. But you know, he had a really horrible life before. Look, if you want to be an animal rights activist, it's easy. Go vegan, educate others about going vegan, and if you have got the resources, adopt or foster a non-human animal, because there's so many of them and millions of them are killed every year. So please help the animals who are in this mess because of us. And even if you can't, even if you don't have the resources to do that, to adopt or foster, go and volunteer at your shelter. Work with animals. Keep them friendly and socialized so that they have a better chance of getting a good home. People really don't understand how important that is, because they get sad, they're in cages for a long time, and they become less adoptable. So work with them, go, take them for walks, and be with them and show them love and help them get a home.
Right, and whenever somebody asks you, or when you ask yourself, isn't it better for companion animals or other domesticated animals to exist in our control rather than not to exist at all? The thing to always ask yourself is, in whose interest is it to maintain their existence? Is it in our interest, or is it in the interest of the animals that we're talking about? And I think if you really ask that question, what's really in the interest of the animals, you might come to a different conclusion than a lot of people who want to say having companion animals and having domesticated animals is actually a good thing.
Duncan, by the way, is a vegan. And for all the information you need about veganism, visit our website, howdoigovegan.com. Signing off for the two Garys and from Duncan. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Thank you.